Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hannah's Happy Home, and welcome to part 2 of this bedroom makeover. There will probably be 3 parts to this bedroom makeover series. So back in part 1, I switched the rooms, cleared everything out of the room, started to get stuff set up, showed you the bedding, the mattress, and now today in part 2, this will be focusing on the design of this bedroom. So I'll kind of walk you through the design that I've planned out, my mood board, how I come up with a plan and a mood board and all of that. I just kind of want to walk you through that process. We'll also be shopping and continuing to work on that room. Let's get into the design of this room. One of my most frequently asked questions over the years when I post room makeovers and whole house makeovers is, how do you come up with a design? How do you make a mood board? Where do you even start when you are planning a room makeover like this, when you're starting from absolute scratch? Sometimes the design and the inspiration will just flow right away, and I'll know right off the bat exactly what the room is going to look like, the whole plan, everything. But then sometimes it can take me quite a while until I get struck with that inspiration and the ideas finally start flowing. But the one place that I know I can go to get ideas is Pinterest. That is just such an awesome place to start scrolling through your style, different bedrooms, and it can really help to get that inspiration rolling. And then from there, I'll start piecing together a mood board, which is so helpful when designing a room. I do not do a room makeover without making a mood board first, and I typically use PicMonkey. I'll be showing here on the screen just kind of an overlay of what my computer is looking like right now, but I use PicMonkey. You can also use Canva, and I will just take screenshots from different pins on Pinterest, different pieces of furniture I found, different decor pieces, paint swatches, curtains, and just pull them together into this mood board, and that way you can see everything together. It's really helpful, especially if you're ordering everything online. And then this is also helpful when you go into the store to go shopping for different pieces. I'll just have this mood board with me on my iPad or my phone, and as I'm walking through the store, I can be looking at the mood board and finding the pieces that I need that match the design that I've come up with. So I'll just walk you through how I plan this room. It's sometimes helpful to have a specific piece that you're pulling inspiration from. Maybe that's like a throw pillow, a rug, a picture, or just anything like that that is giving you inspiration for the room, because then you can pull your colors and ideas and everything from that one piece. For this room, I knew what the theme was going to be. Like I said in the last video, it was going to be kind of cowboy, western, Arizona themed. So I just went with that. I went on Pinterest, and there honestly wasn't a whole lot of ideas on Pinterest for what I was looking for and picturing in my head, but I was able to find a couple of things. I'll show you those pins here, and then I took some screenshots, pulled them together here into PicMonkey as just kind of a starting point, and then I went over and I got screenshots of the bedding that I had picked out, and I pulled that into here in the throw pillow, just making sure that it would match. And then I also went and picked out the furniture, the bed and the nightstands, pulled that into here, making sure it would match the bedding and the theme and the colors and everything. I'm also going to order curtains today, and I always get my curtains and my curtain rods at 2 pages because they have such beautiful curtains. You can get custom sizes, and back when we were renovating my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's house, I was trying to pick out a lot of different curtains for a lot of different rooms, so I just went ahead and bought all of their curtain samples. That way I could have them on hand. These are so nice to actually see them in person when you're trying to pick out a color. Now my favorite is the Liz curtains, and my go-to color for these curtains is the beige white. It is just like the perfect creamy white curtain, but I want to go with something a little different in this room, something a little warmer. So now I'm at the point where I need to start ordering items. I need to start making a list for what I need to shop for when I go to town, and the next part of this video is going to be shopping, and I've got quite a few stores that I want to go into that I know carry a lot of like western rustic items, so those will be really fun to shop through. We're going to go and have a fun shopping day on Monday, but you definitely want to have a detailed list of what precisely that you're looking for. You want to bring that mood board along with you when you go shopping, and hopefully you can do a lot of your shopping online. That's always so much easier than trying to go through a lot of stores to find a specific item. Anyway, I'm gonna make my list here. I'll stop rambling. I just always get so many questions around this subject, so I thought it might be helpful for this room makeover to kind of show you what that process looks like a little bit and how I come up with a plan. Okay, so I just got done in Home Goods and now I'm going to head down to World Market, Ashley Furniture Store. I want to stop by Hobby Lobby and then also would love to go into the Midtown Mercantile. That's a really neat local antique vintage store here in Tucson. They have a lot of awesome Western items. So today's video does have 3 different sections. That first section was me explaining how I design a room and come up with a plan. The second section is the shopping. And then in the third section, we will be actually working on the room, installing some DIY beams, installing lighting, painting. So stay tuned for that later on in the video. And at the very end of the video, I'll show you what the bedroom is currently looking like. So far, I'm not having the greatest luck. All I found is a basket and a picture frame, so hopefully we can find more at the next couple stores. Otherwise, I'm going to be ordering everything online. Really hoping we can find something in that antique shop, but I just stopped for lunch and I ran into Trader Joe's. Instead of getting fast food like Chick-fil-A or something, I decided to just go in here and see what they had. I got a turkey, spinach, and Swiss cheese wrap. These cold coffees are really good. I got one of those, 2 bananas, some dark chocolate covered almonds, and then dark chocolate orange sticks. I'll probably have a few of these later and then just take the rest home for the boys. But all this food will last me for the rest of the day. Target has this really cute section of kids' bedroom decor and playroom decor. So I was looking through that and then looking through all of the rest of decor that they had. They had a lot of new lamps and wall lamps, some of these like rechargeable LED lights. Now I will say this time of year is not really the best time to be doing a room makeover because they are bringing out Christmas items. I ran into that issue in Home Goods. Usually at the front of the store they have this big section of Southwest decor, but they did not have any of that stuff out because it was all Christmas decor. And then also kind of the same issue at Target. Over in like the Studio McGee section or the Magnolia section, it was just all Christmas decor. And so I was having a little bit of a difficult time finding what I had seen in stores previously. But after Target, I went over to the Midtown Mercantile, which if you are local here in Tucson, definitely worth checking out. It is such a neat vintage antique store, and now they have a basement section as well, so even more items. I did find 2 items in here. Honestly found a lot of items that I loved, but they were just kind of out of my price range, but I did get some inspiration in there. And then the next store is going to be Hobby Lobby. Okay, so my last stop of the day is going to be Hobby Lobby, and I know that they do have quite a good selection of Western decor, horse theme. I know they even have some little boy decor that's cowboy themed. So we should be able to find a couple things in here. If anything, we'll just get some inspiration in here as well. It's always nice to go and do a little bit of shopping in person for room makeovers. And then if you have to get things online, you can, but it just helps to get even more inspiration. Okay, so here's a little haul of what I got on my shopping trip. In Home Goods, I got this basket. I thought this went with the theme. I'll either use this as his laundry basket or the basket for all his stuffed animals. In Target, I got this blanket for possibly the rocking chair. This canvas was from Hobby Lobby. This picture was from Hobby Lobby. These 2 stuffed animals were from Hobby Lobby. I got this metal horse sign, and then these were both from that vintage shop. This little Southwest handmade basket to put on his dresser, and then this horse I thought was cute. Probably put that on a shelf or his dresser. These spurs were from Hobby Lobby, and then I got 3 different picture frames to try. I think this one was from Home Goods, and then these 2 were Hobby Lobby. Postcard was at that vintage shop, and I thought it would be neat to put in one of these picture frames because it has all the desert species: javelina, cactus, ocotillo, rattlesnake. Then I went into Lowe's and I got 50 foot of electrical wire, then 4 of these canvas lights to go in the ceiling. We're going with a 4-inch light, and we're trying out a different brand this time. Good morning, everyone. So we're here in the bedroom, and over the next 2 days we're going to be working on making some progress in here, hopefully getting some painting done. As you can see, the bed is at a different spot, and I did move it to the opposite wall. In part 1 you saw that I put it underneath the window, and I just didn't like having it there. I don't like having a bed under a window if I can help it, and so we just decided to move it to this opposite wall, and I'm really glad that I did. I love it over here. I just ordered the curtains for this room, but I have everything else already on hand because we use 2 pages curtains for like every project, and so I have collected a lot of extras over the years. So that's perfect that I had all of that already on hand, and I think I'm going with kind of like a little bit darker gray beige color curtain. I always do white in every single room, and I want this room to be a really cozy space, and so I think bringing in a warmer curtain like that is really going to help bring that cozy element in here. As far as the accent wall, I had thought about doing some type of boards on here. I'm not going to do vertical shiplap. I always do vertical shiplap, so I definitely want to do something a little bit different. But because this wall has a door over on the left-hand side and also has a vent up on the ceiling, it's going to make doing anything with wood a little bit difficult. So I'm thinking about doing like a lime wash to this wall. There's a way that you can do it with paint, and I've always wanted to try it, so this might be the perfect wall to do that on. I think it would be an easy way to make a subtle accent without having to add wood or paneling or anything to this wall. So we'll see, but for now I just need to get all of these holes filled in so that that can start drying and we can start painting. You want to help? You got your tape measure? Let me see. I thought about only doing 3 beams, but then I feel like your middle one has to be centered with the room, and our bed is not centered with the room, so it's gonna look like a little off. Yeah. So it's either 2 or 4. Right. 2x4s?
No, because the trusses run this way. Okay. So I'll be able to just
tack them.
Yeah. 186 and a half. Have to be like 1 here and 1 here. I think we should do is like get the beams up and then see where we like the lights kind of thing.
Because we know the beams have to go in those spots, so.
186 and...
It was 28
I need to go get my tape measure.
You think probably a 4?
Probably.
This was this low profile that I was kind of looking at.
I think 5 looks pretty good, but because we're putting 4 up, I'm not sure. Drop down like
5,
small.
and then we'll just try to make the drop down as small as we can.
See, here's my problem with this. I always cut 46 instead of 45 degrees, a little bit tighter. It gives you more room to create your box. When you put the 2 together, sometimes if you don't get a perfect cut on a 45, you can actually leave a gap. In the very corner, you'll see like a little gap.
Yeah, and then we always have to.
So it's easier to cut a little bit more and then fits together a little tighter.
And then this track is not quite long enough, so we're just gonna try to
move it as we go.
Cut to here and then move it. I like how this has all of this going on in the middle.
Okay, we'll use this side then.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're gonna use this side, we'll flip this over.
I made Jalen a caramel protein iced coffee. He definitely deserves this. He's working so hard on these beams, and I know it is such a huge job. That is not fun.
Thank you, honey.
You cleaning your quad?
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
So funny, but I have
So we are gonna attempt to use the table saw, huh? Moving that track just wasn't working very well, and so we are going to try this.
So this track's only an 8-foot track, which I should have thought about it. I could have got another section to add onto this. My brother's beam, it turned out really nice because this saw allows you to cut a really nice 45. It's not long enough, and we're having to move it as we go, and I think it's gonna mess us up in the long run. So
we are creating 4 DIY beams for this bedroom ceiling, and this was something that we kept questioning on if we should actually attempt this project or not, because we have built many beams in the past, we know how much work they are, and we were going to be attempting to build 4 beams. But in the end, we just decided to do it because we knew that it would look amazing. This would just be like the perfect rustic touch to the room. But these beams were a lot of work. They took 2 days. The first step was just getting all of our boards cut to size. These were going to be 12 foot long, 5 inches wide, then about 1.5 inches to 2 inches deep. I'm going to pause here to make lunch, and for lunch I'll be frying up some chicken, making a salad, making a homemade salad dressing, and to make all of that I'll be using Graza olive oil. Thank you to Graza for sponsoring today's video. You guys have heard me talk about this olive oil before. It is amazing, and it would also make an amazing Christmas gift. The sizzle is the cooking oil. It's made for just everyday cooking. I use olive oil every single day to cook. The sizzle is made from peak harvest olives that yield a more mellow, flexible flavor. Now the drizzle is a finishing olive oil, and this is made for dipping, dressing, and garnishing. This is a great tasting, high quality olive oil because Graza makes always fresh single origin olive oil. They are picked, pressed, bottled, all in the same season. You can even see the harvest date on every bottle. So here I've got 2 of their glass bottles, and they have this awesome pouring spout, and this duo set right here would be the perfect thing to gift because it's in a nice box. You can just wrap this with a bow. These are actually my favorite bottles because these are the squeeze bottles. So there you go. If you want an easy Christmas gift idea, go and click my link down below to shop Graza, and thank you to Graza for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get back to the video. Okay, so I am going to start painting these walls. I just have to do a light coat, but I am going to have to cover every surface of the walls. These walls got painted over 5 years ago, and if I try to just start touching up spots, you are totally going to be able to tell. So I'm going to have to use a brush and paint along all of the trim, ceiling, everything. I don't have to paint the wall behind the bed since that is probably going to be a lime wash wall. So I will just paint everything else, and hopefully this doesn't take too long. We're just letting that first beam dry. We have it glued. He is gonna go and start piecing together the second beam so that that one can start drying. So again, this paint color is Agreeable Gray by Sherwin-Williams. This isn't gonna be a huge transformation because it's the same color that's already on the wall, but it's something that has to be done, especially when I got close to the wall and I really started looking at it. It is really beat up. It needs a fresh coat of paint. So just need to get that done before we do anything else in this room and bring in furniture and curtains and all of that. This just needs to be done. Someone asked in the first part of this bedroom makeover when I was switching the rooms why we have the mattress on the floor, why we don't have a bed, and that is because we're still waiting on the furniture. This bedroom makeover is not complete yet, but in part 3 you will get to see it complete and it will have furniture, so stay tuned for that next episode.
There's usually some spots when you're putting these together that there's still a little gap. So what I like to do is take a screwdriver and run it along this edge, and you can actually smash this together. As you can see, I took took some chains and some different things. I used a lag bolt and a hammer. Get some of these like wormhole looking marks that I'm trying to go for. And just kind of beat up the beam a little bit. Look a little more rustic when you put the stain on it and pulls different colors in those little spots. And then I just hit it with a sander to knock down any rough spots or anything, any pieces of glue that was kind of sticking out from the crack. And yeah, so now it's ready to stain.
Next day. It's been a crazy day so far. We were running around trying to get stuff done this morning. I had to run the boys to the dentist, and Jalen has been just working on these beams, trying to get them finished so that I could stain here this afternoon. We are going to chop a little bit off the ends of these beams just so that they fit perfectly in the room. So we just got done taking all of the measurements, which was a little bit of a headache. Jalen had to go on his computer and just put everything in AutoCAD and print out a paper with exact measurements and everything. And so we got all those measurements, and now we're going to cut the beams so that I can stain and then seal them. If you've watched my videos over the years, then you know that I am using special walnut stain, and this is the semi-transparent stain from Minwax. Usually I will start off by putting a pre-stained wood conditioner on the wood before I stain, but I didn't have any of that left, so I just had to go straight in with the stain. I'm using a rag. Sometimes I'll use a brush, but then sometimes just a rag to wipe on the stain works great too. Once the stain was completely dry, then I used a brush to put on the sealer, and I used the Minwax sealer as well. This is water-based and it's also flat. In between staining and sealing the beams, we were putting 2x4s on the ceiling. We actually ended up having to take these out to the table saw and cut them down a little bit because, like I said, we only made our boxes about 1.5 inches deep, and so the 2x4 was just a little bit too thick for these beams, and so he had to go and cut those down. He also had to run down to the little hardware store to get these 2x4s last minute, and they only had 8 foot, so we had to just get an extra board that he could cut little pieces to extend it to 12 feet. So with the way the trusses run in this ceiling, there is wood up there that we were able to screw these 2x4s into. That way they were nice and secure. And you put the 2x4s up first, that way you can attach your faux beam to the 2x4s. So we used a rubber mallet to beat our faux beam box up around the 2x4. It was a nice snug fit, and then he used a nailer to attach our faux beams to the 2x4. Okay, so he's getting the final beam installed, and these beams do look very beat up, a little rough, because we wanted them to look rustic. We didn't want them to just look like smooth pieces of wood. We wanted these to mimic some old rough cut beams, and we also didn't want them to be very deep because this is a little bit of a lower ceiling, and so anything that was too deep would have just made this ceiling feel too low. So this was just kind of the perfect height for the beams. And now it's the next morning, and Jalen is installing the 4 canless lights. First, he removed the light that was in the middle of the ceiling, patched over that hole, then got these lights up, and they look amazing. The lighting is so much better in here now. So that is where we're going to have to close off today's video. We were hoping to get more done in this bedroom this week, but the beams just ended up taking so much longer than we thought they were going to. This turned into like an entire week project. And so that is what we got done this week in the bedroom. Stay tuned for the final part 3 of this bedroom makeover probably going live sometime in December whenever I get the furniture and all of the rest of the items for this room. And stay tuned for next week's video. I am going to be decorating for Christmas 2025, so don't miss that. Be sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next week. Bye.